It's come on up 6 years living with our new underground stove in our new location. I had 2 years with the other one down below. I've tried 4 different lids. One was a giant wok that fit the curved top of our stove. Others were just a flat top of a barrel that was cut off a barrel, and an actual lid from a barrel that worked pretty good. The most successful is the curved bottom base of a barber's chair with a 3.5-inch hole in the middle of it. It's the second time I've used one of these lids. The other was for making biochar, and I just put the chimney on it, and worked really well on a standard 45-gallon barrel. Built the stove in the video. I just randomly cut the hole out with a grinder. Well, after that, when walking in an old sawmill site, I saw this curved piece of steel, and I dug it up, and it was the 5th wheel from an old buggy. It was about 1 inch wide and holes in it that just happened to fit the hole that I had in the stove already. I bolted and cemented it into the stove with stove cement. It made the stronger top. One of the problems with the curve, even with the other underground stove, was expansion and contraction isn't even, and you get a space with a lid and the air goes in and makes the fire hotter. I do have some ceramic insulation that I'll try one of these days to make a better gasket. Meanwhile, I have a 1-inch fiberglass rope wrapped around the steel part at the top of the stove, and it makes a pretty good seal. I removed the chimney damper a while back because it was made it really hard to clean the stovepipe. We're running the smoke straight out the top of the pipe now. It seems fine. We've had a few glitches. We're ironing out. The first time we cleaned the chimney, it was about a month in, and the creosote fell down and blocked the chimney completely. It took a long time to figure out what the problem was and to clean out the chimney. So now it's a weekly clean whether it needs it or not. I just bought a 50-foot snoorer stake. Then I'm going to use zip ties on the end of it and use a drill to spin it from the ground and clean the chimney that way. I saw a video of someone selling these things on the internet. By far the biggest problem was the fire being way too hot many days and nights. We have to open the window and even the door to make it comfortable inside. I've had this problem in small cabins before and used half-gallon ice cream buckets full of water surrounding the stove to store heat and meter it out during the night. We have probably 80 gallons of water sitting near the stove in barrels, and the temperature is often bath water warm, and that stores a lot of heat. It's also surrounded by bricks. I found a large canning pot a while back and decided to put it on top of the stove with snow in it in the evening to cool it down and store heat, so that after a few hours you can actually hear the water bubbling in the bottom of the pot. Our floor consists of many paving blocks to keep the dust down, and I started pouring the hot water on the floor in the morning. We must have up to 3 or 4 gallons of water that's poured into the floor by now. It does a great job of evening the temperature differences up. We're also melting snow outside the teepee on the ground. Heat travels to where it's cold, so in addition to storing the heat storage, it's also transferring the heat faster through the soil and allowing more soil to warm. Before we did this, we went away for 56 hours and the teepee still maintained the temperature at 16 degrees centigrade when we got back. I'm sure the temperature would maintain it for a week now with all that heat we have stored in the ground. So I usually fill up the canner in the afternoon and keep filling it up with snow till it's near the top. I put the lid on upside down, and any evaporation and condensation doesn't drip all night long and keep you awake. I often don't have covers open the air in the morning to get the chimney warmed up to get the draft going. This system would be extremely good for heating your greenhouse as well. You can put barrels of water in the far end or something like that and transfer the water back and forth to heat the ground in your teepee or in the greenhouse. In the teepee, you can put your hand out and feel the radiant heat that's coming off the stove, which is much better than convection. It's much more comfortable heat. Our floor is almost always too warm to walk on with bare feet. This is a fantastic way to make the teepee better. I'm not sure about the longevity of the stove, but if I did another one, it would be bricks all the way down with a lid on top. Anyway, happy teepee living.